There's 5 guys outside. They want to fight you. They're fighting each other right now for the right to punch you first.
There you go, buddy.
What's your name, Bob? Or is that what you do? All right.
Chester, what do you think about the new cancel culture, woke world?
We have no clue what that means.
We went to the theater and we saw the devil. He's from Canada.
Shoot me, I don't give a fuck. I got health care.
But you're not changing your material.
No, there's no change. I don't change. They bend.
I don't think they'll use this on TV, but... Well, I'll tie him up with cable, then I'll bend him over the table, and I'll show my potato on a sodomy Saturday night.
I just wanted to do stuff that made me laugh.
When we started this back in the 90s, television show, audiences would come in, they'd expect to be entertained. They wanted to be entertained. They wanted to laugh. They wanted a good belly laugh. They didn't care how you got them to do that.
Do you get complaints?
Yeah.
Everybody's just staring at me. And I just was like the end of my career.
If I could fool Penn and Teller, I will politely apologize because that is the Canadian way.
You have to create material that appeals to those audiences, and that might not be artistically satisfying to you.
In Los Angeles, they stab you in the front. In Toronto, they stab you in the back.
When I started comedy, and everybody was a free spirit, I probably wouldn't start today because it's way too restrictive. I actually became a heckler to the audience.
Go fuck yourself, you ignorant pieces of shit.
Frank, you never shut up, eh? Like, you talk to the TV, like, what?
Are we starting?
Yeah, we're starting.
All right, let's go.
Question number 1.
Yeah, hold on a second.
Is that your lovely wife next to you? Are you aware of the fact that there's someone next to you? Were you a doctor, Ed? You really? I get the impression there's still people waiting in that room for you to come in.
When I was 9, I wanted to be a cop, right? I always wanted to be a cop. My stint as a cop, 10 minutes out of my life. I hated it. When they found out I wanted to go to Yuck Yucks and start doing amateur night, they hit me with that. You can't go there. We decide what you can moonlight on. You can't moonlight on a job like that. You're going to be around people taking drugs. You're going to be around people who are boozing. We don't want you doing a job like that, which was a joke and a half.
When you're a cop, you don't need manners. Sit down, shut up. And that control comes home. I want the kids in bed. I want the TV on Channel 7. I want you and the black leg to say, do it now! It was the change that it took in you. And I probably still have a lot of it today. Well, you told me 2 hours ago there's a lot of comics who say Crocker's got an attitude and he's an asshole and all of that. I don't know what that means, but...
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Yellow? Oh, man, I don't even go there, don't even stir.
Chester, shut up. This guy thinks unreal.
Hey.
My uncle Pat, was an insurance salesman who, when he went on the road, he would take this puppet into the bar with him at whatever conference, and he'd pull his puppet out at the bar, and just, like, hey, how you doing there? Good looking. And Pat would have a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, and he'd be talking to people in the bar. At some point after that, Pat died, and for whatever reason, I heard about these puppets, so I called my aunt, Aunt Patricia, and I said, can I have one of, Uncle Pat's puppets? And she was glad to get rid of them because she thought for sure that she had them locked, barricaded, bolted, and chained in the sub-basement. She thought for sure they were going to come up some night and Moulinex the family. And so she gave me this puppet. We'd talk to each other and he'd say, so, how was your day? And this was never practicing, checking, are my lips good? My lips still or anything like that. It was just talking. Kids would walk by and we'd talk to kids on the street. Just, going up to the girls and hi, how are you? And this is where the voice slowly came from here to here. And then he starts talking this way and he's doing that kind of thing. And so, how's Kathy? Well, she's good. Really good. Nothing going on there. What? And we would go back and forth. And that voice came organically. And I lost that, hi, how are you voice.
I'm Hugh Dillon, the comedy equivalent of rock and roll is Darren Frost.
Darren Frost is one of the ballsiest comics in Canada.
But then there's the people who actually turn stand-up into an art. People who try to do something different, who try to advance the art form. People like Darren Frost.
I don't understand his bitterness. I don't understand where it comes from.
When I was a young boy, my mom used to make me wear dresses and dance with my sister's boyfriends, Bill. What the fuck do you think was going to happen? Where do you think that's going to go? I mean, if you want to get the textbook psychology about stand-up comedy, I was hurt as a child, and it's the only way I can feel love is to feel the love of an audience. I got into comedy because I was bullied, and I used my mouth to get out of being bullied, and people were like, you're so funny, and it's funny, I have a yearbook from high school, because I collect these things, that's how sad I am, I still look at them, try to get validation for a time where I probably wanted to kill myself almost every day. Anyways, I look at it now and I think to myself, I was a happy kid, right? Like I was a happy kid. But people have signed it like, you're the angriest guy I know. And I'm like, I was 14. Like, what am I pissed off at 14 about? Like, what the fuck are you talking about, Leslie? I'm not that angry. But I guess I was. You know, you think you're yourself one way and the world sees you a different way. And that's the thing about stand-up comedy in the first 30 seconds. I can act all tough. I can act all like a funny guy. But people make a decision very quickly based on your look. And that's just, it's all high school over again.
You don't think I haven't been stared at before, you bunch of fucks? You don't think that's haven't happened to me? That just makes me do material you're going to fucking hate even more. Here we go. Everyone's on Facebook, aren't we? Isn't it great when someone dies on Facebook and they're still there like 2 weeks later? That's not fucking weird, is it? Or my favorite thing about Facebook, when someone dies, everyone forgets how much of a fucking cocksucker they were. You notice that? They always put shit on there. A friend of mine died. He was an asshole, bit of a fuckface, just like I am. I'm fine with that. But on his Facebook it went, he never said a bad word about anyone. He was so positive. Are you fucking with me? This guy was the Hitler of bitter.
Do you feel you're finally out of high school?
No. No, every comic's a fucking broken child.
I haven't seen him since he used to put vice grips on his cock. To me, there's room for everybody. I don't care if you put vice grips on your cock. If a crowd likes it, there's room for everybody on a show. And what I always hated was things like the Winnipeg Comedy Festival, where they had a theme for the week and everybody had to do the same topic. Fuck you, that's not what people come for. They want to see something different every 20 minutes. And guys like Jason, we're different.
Yeah. Fuck it. Let's get this out. Okay. I got to, so here and there. Okay, what I'm trying to say is, I need a place to stay tonight.
Were you a victim of bullying and all that?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I was, snaggly too, skinny, undernourished, rodent. I grew up in East End of Hamilton.
What was the big influence?
Comedy-wise, I love the Buster Keaton. I love people that put themselves in physical harm for a gag. The throwing yourself in front of the train for a laugh. First and foremost, the most prominent thing was, Jim Carrey. And his appearance on Living Color, and him being from a town that was relatively a stone's throw from where I grew up, seeing his A&E biography kind of give me a little bit of a template of an option. That's how you do that kind of thing. When there's a smoldering steel mill in the background of my life, and that's where I'm supposed to go and crucify myself like everybody else in my family.
In part 2 of his series on amateur comedians tonight, Mike Murphy profiles Bill Davern.
He is the epitome of the shop floor comedian.
I did 13 years in the steel plant, Called it the Steel City Zoo, worked with a group of animals. The only positive thing I can say is it kind of prepared me for a lot of the really tough shows I'd have to do on the road. There was a competition at the Hamilton Yucks, and it was, I think, one of these funniest comedian with a day job, something like that. They had them every year. Anyway, I was on the lunchroom, and one of the big truck drivers, Big Danny McBride, comes strutting in there. Not making this up, he sounded just like Stallone. And he said, "Hey, Davern, got such a big fucking mouth here in the lunchroom, why you,
take it up on stage, you know, ain't got the balls. Huh? You ain't got the balls, do you? Hey, I'll bet you $50 you ain't got the balls.
I bet $50. Ooh. Well, in factory currency back then, that was 2 cases of beer. So.
8 years on a steel worker. Not just anyone can become a steel worker, you know. Managers are quite particular about who they hire. My job interview, the manager looked over my application for him and, oh, Mr. Davern, I see you served 3 years in prison. You have a history of drug and alcohol abuse. You're loud, violent, vulgar. Can you start today?
Take your arm and insert it inside the box. I have a good lawyer. You have a good lawyer. That's good. You'll need one. Your hands are right there, and you can feel that. The blades get inserted. Ow! And the other one gets inserted.
Now, am I supposed to feel this cutting through my bone?
It's the bones, yeah.
Okay.
You unhasp the hinges. Ow! And your hand comes right off. You can wiggle your fingers and see them there.
My great uncle was like a sideshow guy, like a sword swallower and magician and piano player. So because of him, I got into magic. He gave me a book called Amateur Magician's Handbook, and that put me on the path, much to my mother's chagrin. Boy, was she pissed off. I remember once, great story, I had bought flaming gloves to Dove. And there was this thing where you had these white gloves, you know how magicians are supposed to have these gloves, and you'd light it on fire, and you'd light the other one on fire, and then you blow them out, and you take the gloves off, and they turn into a dove. And I did not soak them in water beforehand. I just doused them in lighter fluid, and it won't blow out. My fucking hands, they would not. The hands are just on fire. This is like in front of my entire family at Christmas time. Just destroying the whole Christmas thing. And from that, I thought, I can make a living doing this.
I was a mother of 4. Had a job, was a single parent.
So, you know, as the girls got older, I thought the questions would get easier to stop until I was having a drink with one of my daughters the other night. And she happens to mention that her boyfriend wants to do it up the bum, and what do I think? And I'm thinking, why did I fight so hard for custody? What are you supposed to say to that, right? It's not like there's a chapter in the parenting manual on bum fucking, right?
People would ask me, oh, do you think you'll ever get on stage? And I'm like, are you kidding? Are you nuts? No. And they're like, oh, why not? It's because they're all crazy. You know, they're all like manic depressives or whatever. And, you know, why would I want to subject myself to getting up on stage and getting rejected by, you know, a bunch of people? I got enough rejection in my day-to-day living.
The miracle of the incredible floating ball. Watch and be amazed. Did anybody think I was going to be good?
I've probably been doing this now over 40 years. I don't like doing the math. You know, people always try to paint you as you're like some emotional crippled. That's the only reason you get into it. Like I was juggling, I was obsessed with it. I'm kind of mathematical in it, and it appeals to me. Patterns.
Oh, I'm excited. Holy fuck.
It's not great for relationships, I'll tell you, you know. Like, there's my dream. I want to be a juggler, and like, you know, they're going, like, you're born to fail.
I think you sell out when you do anything that you don't want to do. Where I've done that, I've taken jobs where I didn't want to do, and it was just hell on earth. And, you know, just you're waiting for that 15-minute break where you can line up the shotgun correctly.
I got the axe where I was working, lost a bundle on a sure thing. My grandma caught me jerking, didn't know that she was 13. Fell down an escalator, got ripped up by a waiter. My wife, I really hate her, and I'm a chronic masturbator. A kid hit me with a snowball, and then I got a prank call, put my fist through the drywall, and my daughter found my sex doll. Tomorrow there is no way I'm going down to the subway, and on the tracks I'm gonna lay. It's been a bad day. It's been a bad day.
So I'm severely dyslexic, right? And
I grew up in the, I went to school in the 70s and 80s. Back then they didn't know. I became the class clown. It's easier to be the class clown because then everybody would go, oh, he's playing dumb, I didn't want to be a clown. I really was trying. Shit, are you trying to get me to cry or something? Like, what are you doing?
Heard on the news, and I'm not making this up. Kids are shoving fucking tampons up their ass, full of liquor. Did you hear about that? I'm serious. That they are. And I'm like, wait, like why? Wait, when you fart, it smells like Bacardi. What is this? Is it a new game now?
Read that sign, buddy. Yeah, out loud, yeah.
Club 54.
No, try it again.
I think that's what it says.
Nope, it doesn't. You know what that reads to me tonight, and Bill, who was just up here?
Yeah.
Come die at Club 54. That's what the fucking sign.
It's weird. Performers are weird. Bill, you've worked with a lot of them. They all collectively, and I include myself, we all seem to be looking for approval for some reason. We're all suffering from low self-esteem, or we wouldn't be doing this. And we have just enough confidence and balls to get on the stage and do it. But I will admit that I've always had low self-esteem, and I don't know why. So I'm looking to validate myself, and I think a lot of the comedians are. Because if they're accepted by the audience, it fulfills an empty spot that they have somewhere.
I wasn't very good at math class in Brantford in high school. I sucked at math because you know what? I'd always screw up the test answers. Like you guys remember this kind of question. We always screwed it up. A train's leaving Sudbury for Toronto at 80 miles an hour. A train's leaving Windsor for Toronto at 60 miles an hour. What time did they get to the station? And I'd always put, call the station. People get paid to figure this shit out. Good for me.
The happy, clappy, fun boy years. My first 5 years of comedy where my outfit was funnier than my act. And I was killing with that character. Some of my best shows ever were the happy, clappy, fun boy years. And I was getting recognized all the time in Toronto, and people were like, oh, you're going to be, and Just for Laughs was like interested and all this. And thank God it never went anywhere. Because I don't know if I'd still be here, and I wouldn't have the life I have if I'd be fucking in funny pants at age 51. Like, kill me. So I said to myself, drop that, work on your act, write good jokes. And I tried, and I slowly became more like a more obnoxious version of myself. But then you had to realize that if you're going to do it, you're going to have to be okay with bombing.
If you're going to make a joke of it, then...
No, listen, fuckface, that was not a joke. That was a comment on being unlucky. That's what that was. It was a setup to a bigger joke. No, don't tell me what a fucking joke is while you sat there not laughed once. You don't like me, I get it. But don't throw fucking cancer back in my face while I'm trying to do a fucking joke here.
You made the joke, so if you say that you fought cancer, then tell me how you fought cancer.
Let me explain. It's not tell me. I can have you removed right fucking now. Don't say tell me. This isn't your fucking show. This is everybody's fucking show, motherfucker. Go fuck yourself. All right? I'm not going to come to your job and go, hey, tell me how your best friend died of AIDS. No, tell me right now before you make my fucking burger. Tell me right fucking now. Do you understand me? No, you don't. Because you don't have a social skill. You're fucking socially retarded is what you are. Is this happening? This is happening, right? Like, this is actually happening right now? You know what's great about this fucking? I'm recording this show. There's a camera back there. Guess what's getting uploaded to fucking YouTube tonight? No, you tell me about the panda! You tell me about the panda! Wow.
The important question to ask is not how do I do it, but why. So it always goes the same way. Birthday parties, then malls, then libraries, then universities where you get to perform for people playing euchre and nobody cares. Then you progress onwards from there. But that's always the way it starts, especially for magicians. I was working at Yucks in high school and Chris gigs and other one-nighters. And from there I just kept on trucking. I never stopped.
I went down and I watched a few shows, kind of get an idea, the amateur shows, to see, kind of how to do it, So you basically put together 5 minutes of material.
The Jim Rose Circus Sideshow, it kind of gained popularity through Lollapalooza. And these kind of like European style music festivals would have these kind of a geek show. I think vaudeville and the freaky aspect of it was very popular in the 90s. It was the punk thing to do, to, self-mutilation and geek stuff. Nothing was sacred, anything to make anybody sick. I coughed and some milk and some spaghetti came out of my nose one time, and I realized that there was a thing here. I was rebelling against the norms. What more than get your dad angry than, pull a condom out of your nose at the dinner table? You know what I mean? It was like pissing people off. I was going into poetry readings at coffee shops in Gastown and being chased out by lesbians after some guy played flamenco guitar with his foreskin. It was brutal. They fucking hated us.
You're the master spritzer. But did you ever have a set? How did you start?
You know what? I had an amateur night. I had to, right?
Yeah.
I can't fit it. The jokes I had, they're unfucking believable when I look back. Do Eskimo cops feel foolish when they yell freeze? I look back now and I go, holy fuck! Thank God you spritzed. The other one I had was, wait till the Japanese get a hold of bungee jumping. It'll be cordless. I doing that on an amateur night, and there were 4 Japanese guys in the audience, and they went up to the manager after and called me a racist for that joke.
Even back then?
Oh, even back then, man. I couldn't fucking believe it.
I went to McDonald's. Oh, McDonald's. What a fine restaurant that is, eh? Man, I go in there. This is what the girl says to me. I know it's all scripted now. They tell them what to say. But I walk in there. She goes, good evening. Will you be dining here this evening? I'm dining all of a sudden here in McDonald's. What a fine restaurant this is. Oh, garçon. Can I get a few more ketchup packets over here, please? This Big Mac is exquisite. And please give my compliments to the grade 9 zip-faced chef who put it together for me. Can you do that? They didn't tell me that there was a time limit. So I went down there. I had like a 20-minute act I was going to do. So I just kept going and going, and I see the lights flashing. I swear this is absolutely true. This is honestly it. I was just green. I had no idea. I didn't know what the flashing lights meant, get off. So, of course, you can't have a kid who's sucking going for 25 minutes on their paid show or whatever. So they turned off the power. That was the only way they could get me off the stage.
We went to the Super Club. It was an open mic night, and it was brutal, Bill. It was absolutely brutal. I remember this guy came out on stage, he was overweight, and they were just heckling the shit out of this guy. And he couldn't say anything. And I went to Harlan Williams, and I just said, Harlan, I can't go on. He goes, listen, everybody's got to do this. And I went out, I did it, and all of a sudden it was done. Everybody clapped, and you get that feeling. And I felt like it was like doing cocaine for the first time.
Sound like you're in a good mood. I assume that's true?
Believe it or not, I had trouble with, really bad nerves with a crowd. And I had trouble concentrating on memorizing the act. I knew every line top to bottom, and if you changed one word, it would completely screw me up. So I felt that I needed to get some improv skills. So I joined Second City in Toronto, the classes, and then I went fairly high in that and worked on the main stage, and I got to work with guys like Martin Short and Eugene Levy and John Candy. And that helped me become a better comedian, but it made me a better writer and a better host.
The Cubs on Locke Street. for whatever reason, said, we would like you to do a show for us. And I wasn't doing shows. I was just performing on the front steps. And, and we'll pay you. And I said to Dad, they want to pay me. What do I charge them? And I think he said, charge them $75. They want 20 minutes. And Dad wrote me up a little skit, corny as hell, but I sometimes still use it to this day. If I get some Christmas gig or something, I can throw all of this corny stuff that Dad wrote. Dad called him Chester. And so that was, and
Did Dad give him the name?
Yes. Dad gave him the name. Because it was just different enough. Just different enough that people would remember that.
Oh, yeah! Welcome to Mother's Night. It's comedy night. No, it's Mother's Night. And you young girls want to be mothers, come up and see me after the show. These girls aren't going to see you after the show. They're going to see me after the show. They're not going to. Chester, they're not going to see you after the show. They're not. No, they're not. Well, they're not going to see you. You got fixed. Leave me out of this. Lots of guys get vasectomy. They do it all the time. So you're a woman, I'm a guy. You're a girl, I'm a guy. You gotta sit down to tea. I do not. I saw him. I'm lazy.
It was at Harborfront, and I just went and applied, and I said, I have a juggling act. She says, okay, well, you can start, you can start for the summer. And starting in 2 weeks. So I had 2 weeks to figure out how to do a juggling act, and I had to do 45 minutes right off the get-go.
It was a kid's show.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was very much a kid show. I hated doing kid shows. I have the kid and I go, oh, this is a mentalist bit. And I go to somebody and I go, oh, hold up some fingers. And then they would go, they'd hold up 3 fingers, and then I would get a piece of newspaper, hit the kid on the head 3 times, and I go, what's the number? The kid would go, 3. And then I go, okay, we'll try a little addition. And of course, everybody always goes, 5 and 5, 10. And then I went to multiplication. So it was 25. I was really trying to stretch out the time.
By beating a child. Is that the idea? This was the humor of it?
It was.
You didn't have an agent. You weren't working for Yuck Yuck.
No, actually, I used to just go out and hustle. That's what I did. I had some 8x10s, and I would go to bars and ask them if they wanted to have a comedy show. When I first started, you're not even making the stage, and everybody's yelling. You've had about 15 people heckle you before you've hit the mic. And a lot of times you'd have to even play strip bars, right? They all come to see the stripper, and then you come out. You can imagine how pleased they are.
I hate men talking about our female issues, and then they'll bitch and complain about it and make it funny, whatever. But I thought maybe it was time that the audience had the woman's perspective.
It's fun raising kids in this day and age, eh? All the questions they ask about sex. Like when my girls were younger, it was, Mom, what's a dildo? What's a vibrator? And of course the dreaded question, Mom, do you have a vibrator? I'm like, yes, I have a vibrator. How do you think I stayed with your father for so many years? Fuck, do you know him? And they're going, that's gross, that's disgusting. And here we thought you were shaving your legs at 3 o'clock in the morning.
A lot of it was visual learning. So I'd make these tapes like we're doing here for loads of my stand-up. And a lot of it I would shoot from the side and get a action of the audience. I got a good sense of myself physically after watching 100, 200 shows in a row that I started to turn the camera into the audience and not restricting it to the guy with a tattoo on his neck. That guy's always gonna like me. He paid, he's been waiting for the show. But this middle-aged white lady who's never seen stand-up comedy is in way over her head. But I need to keep her in the balance of it.
Something tells me that scarf around your neck is to hide the cum shot, sweetheart. Look at she's laughing with her mouth open. That's called teasing.
You're out there to make people laugh. If you use a guitar to make people laugh and they have a good time, I think anything's okay.
Hey, we got Bare Naked Ladies. You like them Bare Naked Ladies? Yeah! What's their big song there, eh? If I had $1 million. Yeah. If you had that much money, would you be that nice? If I had $1 million, if I had $1 million, well, I'd buy me a Porsche and I'd splash you at the bus stop. But if I had $1 million, I'd buy your house. And if I had $1 million, that would make me your landlord. And if I had $1 million, I'd raise your rent to something you couldn't afford. And if I had $1 million, I'd be a prick.
You name your favorite actor, and damn it, I'm going to do him for you. Name your favorite actor. Go ahead.
Charlie Chaplin.
I get the joke. He was in silent movies, so fuck off, okay? It was good, you prick. I guess impressionists are considered hack because we all end up having to do the same voice. Because if you try something different, they don't know who you're talking about. And a lot of it has to do with age demographics. You have to kind of look ahead and go, oh, who the hell am I playing to? And you get a room like in Club 54, you got 25 to 65. You'll do something like Johnny Carson because the older people know him, but the young people have no idea who the hell you're doing, you know?
Well, of course, you do somebody like Hank Hill, you know, from King of the Hill, hell, I'll tell you what. And the young people know that, but you get the old people scratching their head.
Who? All right, let me try this. I've never really done Pacino before. Hi, how are you? Wait, ladies, I saw that movie Wonder Woman. Have you seen this movie Wonder Woman? It was directed by a woman, written by a woman, stars a woman, and totally empowers women. To which I would now like to give my 2-word review. Nice tits.
When you're a solo, you're doing your show. But when you're a duo, and Chester's supposed to have a different voice, a different character, everything's supposed to be separate. I have to be separate, so I'm no longer even an actor. Like, you know, if you're doing any of your impressions, you're starting to act it out. I'm almost deadpan, and as he's talking, I'm not even listening to him anymore. I'm just sort of scanning big boobs, little boobs, short skirts, tight pants.
None of them like that. I'm not making fun of him. Heck, you're trisexual. He'll try anything. No.
We used a lot of stock lines. Hey, you're late. Can I get you anything? Like a watch?
Hey, mister, you're late. Can I get you something? Chester. Like a fucking watch? Shut up.
You had to start watching the opening acts because everybody was using that stuff.
Like I had a huge box and I would just do one-shot gags.
Oh, that's right, Warren. Just pick up my pants. Don't leave it like this.
Sometimes you've got to be very careful, like with fire.
Here's a dangerous move. Oops, not for me, but for this couple right over here.
One time, I put fluid in my mouth, I blew the torch, and usually it makes a beautiful ball. This time, it comes back into my face. I cut the show, I say good night, I hop in the cab, and I go, take me to the hospital. I gotta check out what kind of damage I've done to myself.
Did I mention I fell off the stage one night? Yeah, you know the expression break a leg? I literally almost broke my fucking arm. I fell. The audience thought it was funny as hell.
What other job can you do where you're allowed to drink? Where you show up at the gig and they'll give you drink tickets. So I did get, I found how close I could come to my tolerance of a drinking problem, definitely. Because also, alcohol is the relaxer, where no matter what I want to say, no person is born a stand-up comedian. Like, when you come up, oh, I could never do that. People constantly are coming up to you and saying, oh, I could never do what you do because of the nerves and everything, but I think alcohol did help a lot.
Ken Shaw from CFTO News asked me to MC a charity golf tournament for him. So I go, sure, I'll do it. And Doug Bassett's there, the Bassett family. I mean, they own the Telegram, they own CFTO, they own CTV, they own everything. He goes, can you think of something you'd want to do? I go, yeah, late night talk show. He goes, oh, I don't know, Mike, you know, they've tried with Ralph Ben-Mergy, they tried with Peter Zowski. I said, yeah, listen to the names. They tried with news guys. Nobody's ever done it with a stand-up comic. I said, the reason it works in the States, Johnny Carson was a comic, David Letterman was a comic, Jay Leno was a comic. They've all been comics, Doug. He goes, okay. And that's basically how it happened. Doug Bassett going, okay, let's figure out what we're going to do here. Mike's going to have a talk show.
Hi, I'm Ben Guyatt, inviting you to watch comedy at Club 54.
I'll never forget, I was just sitting at my computer, a really old computer. My wife, she went out for the evening with a girlfriend. She's probably screwing around on me, but who cares? Anyway, ex-wife. So I was on the computer, and I wrote a script, a television pilot script for a stand-up comedy show. Because I had seen them doing it in Los Angeles, A&E's Evening at the Improv, and I thought, well, I can do that. I had worked for CHTV as the host of a very late night show called 11 After Midnight. And so I knew Larry Schnurr, who went on to direct Comedy Club 54. He was the program director at CHTV. I took it to him and I said, I know the answer is no, but at least look at this script and see what you think. Lo and behold, a week later, he called me back and he said, yeah, we could shoot this pilot.
I was busy on Friday and Saturday. I said, I got to get something in here on the Thursday. I thought of Comedy Club.
And I was driving down Harvester Road and I saw this big Club 54 sign. And I thought, well, what the hell is that? I didn't even know what it was. I remember I came in.
So in walks Ben Guyatt. I need a place to do this comedy show that I do on CHTV. And I'm thinking, how much does he want for nothing? Like the deal was, of course, I had to pay the comics. And so I became an executive producer of the show.
How you doing? I'm Ben Guyatt. Welcome to comedy at Club 54.
Fall of '92 until 2001, we taped the show. For the Canadian content, CRTC stuff, one of the comics was American, one was Canadian.
And that really got my feet wet with dealing with comics and how they can be quirky, how they can be difficult, how they can be very shy, very arrogant. A very well-known comedian from Canada, one of the, I'd say the top 5. He didn't think the lighting was right. And I said, well, you know, I'm not a professional technician. I don't know anything about lighting. But I'll introduce you to the guy who does the lighting. It was a guy named Brad Cawthard. He went up to Brad and he goes, you know, I think you got the lighting all wrong. And Brad didn't even look up from, you know, his board. And he goes, really? Why don't you fuck off? And I looked at the comedian and I said, see, never piss off the people that are trying to make you look good. The network had no idea how to do a late night talk show. The production company I worked with, who shall remain nameless, biggest assholes I ever met. I said, I want stand-up comics to be paid. It's where I came from. It's important to me. This was after the first season. I said, I want stand-up comics paid. Well, then ACTRA got involved because a lot of stand-up comics aren't in ACTRA. And then they made a nightmare out of it, you know? And I finally just threw up my hands and said, fuck it. I don't care what you do, just pay them. And they just fucked us around so much, Bill, you just wouldn't have believed it. They just got involved in every little fucking thing. I don't care if you're holding a bucket with $1 million fucking bucks. You want me to do something I don't want to do, I'm going to tell you to go fuck yourself. And it came down to that with the guy who was the executive producer and the head of the network in the end.
Have a good night, folks. We'll see you tomorrow.
In Los Angeles, they stab you in the front. In Toronto, they stab you in the back. Everybody would always ask me, are you nervous because you know there's 3 or 4 cameras on you, and the answer was always no. I'm not nervous about being in front of the camera. Never have been. Being the guy who booked the acts, all the responsibility did not fall on the comedian if they bombed. It was on me, because I was the producer. I didn't want to let Gene down. As dumb as it sounds, you don't want to let your family and friends down, because ultimately, at the end of the day, you know, when you're out in public, and that was great at the beginning when people knew who you were. After a while, it was a pain in the ass. You'd be amazed how many people will take the time to get up, cross the room, and tell you that you're an asshole.
Hey, Ben, have you met my daughter, Olivia?
Gucci, Gucci, Gucci.
Hey, I guess you've seen your act. CHCH got bought out by Global at that time. They were on TV. Then they became one of the Global. And they cut back on all kinds of local programming that were happening. So we kind of got shuffled out of the mix.
It was a phenomenal ride. It's a lot easier to make a good TV show when you're friends. And I'm friends with Gene. If we didn't have that relationship, I'm not so sure the show would have been as successful.
How about if I just grabbed you by the ears and went, shut the fuck up already?
I tried to do my own show, my own TV comedy show, where the audience is just as much the star as the comic is. You know, comics usually you're just standing up there and you're like a weatherman, blah, 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 just doing your shtick. What if, you know, you're dealing with a really rambunctious audience? And I had been a road warrior for quite a while, playing terrible rooms, right? And I thought, I gotta catch this.
There was a little handwritten note, comedy night tonight, and some guy said, oh, fuck, I'm here to play pool.
Well, they're going to be shutting up the pool table. So.
They're the animals that are going to be moving up, though. Can you turn the pool table off? And the owner's saying, if you're any good, they'll stop playing. You would have to pick on that guy to shut him up.
You look like you got a sweet tooth, Randy. You got a sweet tooth? You like maple syrup? Will you put it away?
A good friend of mine in Toronto that I went to college with, he had a commercial business, and I kind of pitched it to him, and then he thought, yeah, it's kind of an interesting idea, and he knew some independent cameramen who had their own equipment, so I found the perfect bar, which was in Elmira.
Hey, what's the population of Elmira? Anybody know?
7.
7 what?
People.
7 people. What are you, cloning, you fucks? What?
We're all sheep. Or at least, never mind.
Absolutely. You keep your mouth open. I'll be right over. Anyway,
And I got 2 of the best road warriors in the business, which of course was Mark Crocker.
Hit them with both barrels.
And the great Ron Vaudry.
I think the sound guy's a freak.
I mean, these guys just have an arsenal of wit. Bang, bang, bang.
He's gonna tear this guy apart.
could have been such a nice, easy show tonight, but no, your parents had to fuck, didn't they? Oh, I'm sure your mother'd be very apologetic. Well, I didn't want to fuck him, but I hated the taste.
He's not here. He looks like a chia pet. I'm not sure which eye to look into.
Chester can have fun with that. I was watching his...
Mark, it wasn't Chester, it was you. Right?
The style I did on the show was more like cinema verite. That's what we used to call it. But nowadays, you know, it's very common on TV. But I would be talking to the audience.
The last time he did this, he almost got dummied right on stage.
That whole era now is gone, right? I mean, everybody's in the audience smoking cigarettes.
And don't worry about the smoke, by the way, folks. Central Tavern here, they have a rather unique air filtration system. It's you. So breathe deeply.
You know, there were no cell phones. You know, people were fun. You could talk about anything up there.
That's Jesus Christ, this is a result of taking a test tube, baby, and going, let's see what happens.
We took it around, pitched it to some of the TV stations. They loved it. Like, I mean, they laughed out loud when they were watching it. You know, and they said, oh, it's so good, we can't use it.
Yeah, I see the light. I'll do some dick jokes. We're out of here.
It's too raw for television, and that whole thing where you break the fourth wall and you're talking to the camera. I mean, that's not going to work. What was it? 5, 6 years later, you know, reality TV reared its head, and now it's the norm. And $1 million worth of promise and 2 cents on delivery. You know.
We'll see you again. Good night.
Craig Campbell, my friend and kind of a mentor in a way, he'd come back and do Yuck Yucks Hamilton and be like, I just got back from Australia and New Zealand, and I'm going to Hong Kong, and I'm going to go skiing in Switzerland, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm doing Peterborough in 2 months. I'm at least going to see where I stand in a global market. And going to the Fringe Festival and looking around going, wow, this is amazing, Scotland, cool. And you've got a 30-day arts festival with the best of the best from all over the world. And not only in stand-up, but plays and all kinds of theater and all that stuff. So I got a really eyeful of what you can do with nothing. I end up getting on shows.
If you don't like to travel, this is not the business for you. I've been to Asia, England, Europe, all over. You actually meet a ton of people because you're up on stage. Everyone likes a comic. It's not like it's a job that, you know, you're like foreclosing on their house or anything.
I'll give you the cruise ship rundown in a nutshell.
Go ahead.
So here's the way it works on ships. There are ships where you're just a crew member and you live in a crappy cabin with no window and no carpet. You gotta wear a name tag, you gotta be down in this metal box room like you're some prisoner of war, comedy war. But then there are ones, like the ones I work, they fly you in, South America, Europe, Australia, whatever, you do 2 weeks and you fly home. You can drink, you can hang out, be a passenger, you get a nice cabin with a balcony, you do one show in a week, you know, early show, late show, like 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and you gotta be so middle of the road there. I know a comedian that was fired for talking about the weather too much. I know another comedian who got fired because he talked about the buffet too much. You have like hardcore Republicans with money, you got super leftists on there.
When you're on a cruise, there's no leaving. You have to be around those people you performed for. You're fucking constantly being seen as the dancing monkey, whether you kill or you bomb. And I can't handle it, and I don't want to jump to my death, and I want to be there for my children's weddings and birthdays, so I refuse to do a fucking cruise.
We got doing the cruise ships.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because I was going to tell him. I said it first. Cruise ships. We traveled the world. But it was, if somebody complains, you don't know why they complained, you don't know who complained, you don't know when, where, you just get a thing that says, you're slept like a policeman. It's not the term is sweating like a pig. I didn't want to be rude.
Bombed.
Okay, where?
I fucking bombed so bad, Bill.
Where?
Moscow. This woman from an agency in Moscow, we want you to come and do a television show. They were doing 2 Russian nights, and then we're gonna do an international night with English. This rockabilly band, this Russian rockabilly, so they're playing intro extra for the acts, but these cocksuckers are talking on hot mics. In studio, while I'm doing stand-up, they're blacked out, but their mics are still hot, and they're making conversation. I think they were sabotaging the foreigners, right? And I'm like, can we turn these fucking, like this, we're taping. If they didn't understand, they'd hear an English word and put it in some context. The mechanics of the material was all a spaghetti. And I bombed in Holland every night. The Dutch people are not blown away by weird stuff, like taboo issues, or they grew up in it. So it was corny to them. I in hindsight, because I knew the table of British people were dying laughing. So I've got Children of the Corn staring at me, you know, and then some hammered British 3 couples getting shit corked, laughing at not only the jokes, but then laughing at the audience not responding. Like they're dead inside, you can't help them. They were not, they were just blank. Africa, I made the front page of the newspaper in Johannesburg.
Military gigs came to me from a mutual friend of ours, Wes Zaharik, actually put me onto them when I was very young. The shows for the military are more along the lines of a variety show, not a comedy show specifically. So, like, I do them, so I'm maybe the MC or I'm the variety spot. Then there's dancers. Oftentimes there's usually a musical guest, country artist, something like that. Oftentimes somebody pretty famous. I just did Kuwait a little while ago, and Iraq and Iran. I think the first one I did was maybe 1997. It was to the North Pole. Flew out in a Hercules aircraft, do a show in Greenland, then do a show at the North Pole. You're there for 4 days, you're hanging out, it's like minus 80 degrees. You want to watch The Thing, very important. You got to watch The Thing up at the North Pole. They also have these rabbits, the Arctic hare. They're 3 feet high, these Arctic hare, and they walk on their hind legs. And for your safety, like when you're walking out of the army base, like from the plane to the base, they give you like a stick with a ball on the end of it in case these things come at you. And then one of the dancers went out to throw some garbage out in a bin, and they attacked her, and she had to beat them back like it's in the middle of Jurassic Park, man. But again, you can't pay for an experience like that, right? It's the best. It's slightly on a tangent, but they have these telephones up there. This is before the internet, largely. So they had satellite phones, and you go into this booth, and one of the other acts is like calling his wife, I'm okay, and he's talking for like 20 minutes, and he's crying, and there's Kleenex there because he's crying, he's wiping his eyes. And he comes out and he's like, the connection was great, I talked to my wife, because thank God the Kleenex was there because I could wipe my tears. And the guy's like, that's not what the Kleenex is there for.
We're going to do Vegas, the casinos and the rooms. Dave's telling me that when I go to Vegas, I can't take my wife and kids with me. I got to be focused on this, and I got to be this and that, and I'm not here to just jerk around in that. We got to be all business. So Dave presented me with a contract that was like this thick, and he was not going to keep me unless I was making at least $250,000 a year. If I'm not making at least that much, he's not interested in me. He's going to get a percentage of every belt buckle, lunchbox, briefcase, anything with my name on it. He's getting 30, 40 points or something like that. Any TV show I'm in, he gets executive producer credits. And my only out, literally my only out, was death. He could get out for any reason. Any reason he could get out. Mine was death.
A friend of mine sets up this gig to do at this sex club. And I'm like, fuck yeah. I'm in LA. I'm trying to get on at the Comedy Store for a month now. You want to take me to Vegas and do a sex club gig? I'm like, fucking anything. Just give me an audience. You get a wristband, you can go into certain rooms and so on and so forth. So there was like this screen and a bunch of guys with their faces getting whacking off. And I bumped one of the guy's elbows, like, oh, sorry, I almost, whoa! I didn't get a hair trigger, Larry. I guess I should take off my Crocs. And I stick my head in the couples room, and there's all these different level beds, and all these people are kind of fucking and sucking and this stuff, and I lean in and I go, Dad! 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 And everyone stopped fucking, and they're like, what the fuck is going on? Dad! No! You're hurting Mommy! Wait, that's not Mommy! Yeah, and anyway. That was Vegas, but yeah, I performed.
No, hold on. You had to perform.
Yeah.
Like stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
So everybody just stops fucking.
No.
And since it watches you, I mean,
no.
how good are you?
No. I couldn't compete with a cum shot or a steak dinner. That's in my rider. They had the show, a stand-up show that everyone was welcome to come. I think people paid to come in to see the show. There was a stripper pole behind me on the stage, and I remember licking it from top to bottom, like, if this doesn't kill me. Because they never washed that thing.
Can I ask you, what was your inspiration to do this?
Because, again, it was like throwing myself in front of the train. The last thing you want to do is touch anything in that place. It's a sex club. So instinctually, I turned around and licked it to open up the show and go, look, we can all relax now. We got that out of the way. We were all waiting for me to do that.
I'm sure they were.
Yeah.
In 1999, I went to LA, and nothing happened. A lot of comics will tell you, I went and things happened, but no. Fuck all happened. The comedy clubs were very still A&E at the Improv, kind of like really jokey joke. And I was doing stuff, you know, even the few shows I did do, I was doing stuff about Scientology, and a comic pulled me aside in LA and said, "You can't do that here." I'm like, "What? They'll fucking get you." I'm like, "What are you talking about? They'll get you." I'm like, and these jokes weren't hard hitting. They're just making fun of Scientology just a little, but you know, that's what happened. Nothing happened. Fuck all happened. So I came home, got a girl pregnant 3 times, and here we are.
If you're doing it in Canada, it's kind of pointless. Like people used to say, well, you can't get famous in Canada. And it's true, you can't, but at the point, you don't know that sort of stuff. You have to sort of find out on your own.
I guess it's true that we say a lot. But the beer is cold here and the bacon's hot. And a big red leaf on our flag is all we got. I can live with that. And we say Z, and you say Z. We got bad movies and we have worse TV. You would hang yourself if you watch CBC with an extension cord. Oh, I'm Canadian. And we don't fight cause we're afraidian. Unless it's in a hockey stadium.
My agent called me and said, "Okay, look, they want you for this. I'm going to send you the breakdown." Now, breakdown is, it literally tells you what the character is. So it'll be like, you know, Mario and Luigi. He's a plumber. He works by day. He takes care of his mom. And I gives you something to give you something to wrap your mind around this character, right? And all it said was somewhat unattractive. That's it. And I call my agent. I go, "Danny, like, what the fuck? Come on. Like, have a heart. Like, maybe not send me the breakdown. Just go read the script, do whatever you want, Darren. Like, you don't need me to see I'm going in for somewhat unattractive." But here's the kicker. I didn't get the gig. So, I'm somewhat attractive.
Flowers might wow her. But if you want to be a hero this Valentine's Day, come to Leon's for our Sweet Nothings event.
The thing about commercials, why comedians do very well at it, is commercials aren't really based in reality.
Hi. I didn't think anybody was going to stop. Hey, wait.
You've got a very short time, you've got a moment, you got to be funny. That's why comics are generally great at commercials. I took off like a fucking rocket. I did like 50 commercials in 3 years. So I really did well.
Fantastic.
But what happened is, that was also the era where I started morphing out of funny, happy, clappy, fun boy into little man hate. And the internet also started where people could just put your name in and go, "Oh, this guy's a cunt, delete." So I started getting that problem. And there was a commercial I did with Kraft where they wanted to fire me because of my stand-up, and my agent called me and said, "Will you shut down your website and, you know, cool it?"
How the fuck does this work? How fucking you're at home watching a shitty commercial? Hey, who's that shitty actor in 3 seconds of that fucking commercial? So you call Kraft, who calls the production company, calls my agent, who calls me, and you get my name. You go to Google and put my name in Google. You find my website, comedywhore.com. You find 10% of my website that might be deemed offensive and go, "Good God, I'm never going to eat simulated cheese product again."
The gig was, I think, $3,000. Now, I'm not saying $3,000 isn't a lot of money, but I'm not going to shut down something I've worked hard at for, up to that point, at least 7 years. No fucking way. But that was the first taste of like, Darren, you better be careful what you put online, what your process is, because it's going to come back to bite you in the ass. And that was near the end of my commercial run, because that's what started happening. People were like, "Oh, I go into commercial auditions," and people be like, "Oh, Darren, remember that time you got fired from a commercial?" Like a casting director actually said that once. I'm like, this is how we're going to start my audition?
A guy that used to come out to my shows in Toronto, I remember after my Comedy Now taping, he was there, and I said, "I think we're going to do a horror movie together." long way from home, aren't you?
Just trying to get our name out there, man.
You're gonna get your name out there. I got a feeling you're gonna be filling arenas soon. We're made for this place. Spare parts. It's really good. I was pleasantly surprised. Hardest thing I've ever done. Hardest thing.
I've consulted on a Hollywood film, Dead Silence.
Young Michael here doesn't think you're a real person.
What do you mean, Mother?
He thinks you're a dummy and that I'm doing your voice for you.
Did the puppetry on Dead Silence, so that was kind of a verification.
But that can't be true.
So basically, I sat behind and did all the manipulation of the puppet, because any actor who starts trying to do something they just learned, the puppet drops off to the side, and well, the actor talks, and then, so what do you think? And it's like, he starts talking. And then with Billy Ray Cyrus at the show Doc, I didn't get the acting part of the middle-aged ventriloquist with relationship problems with his puppet. I lost that part.
Please welcome Matt DeSero.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I never thought getting the show meant that I hit the big time. I never thought it meant that I was, in fact, one of the best. But it was a real honor to be asked to be on the show. It was a 9-camera shoot. I'd done lots of TV in my career, but never had one with 9 cameras. I got a couple of jibs flying in front of me. Oh my God, is it ever nerve-wracking being on the show.
Whether it's real, if I had magic powers, they would be yours, Matt. They would be yours.
Thank you, and that is why you guys are the best. But, boy, did it open up a lot of doors. Like, it gave me a career. It extended my career for another 10 years, I bet, maybe more.
There's a show called Circus, Donnie and Marie Osmond in. It was the first show I ever did, and it was at the end of the day. The whole audience had left, and so they go do your stuff. And there was no audience there, but I still did like there was, and it looked fucking horrible. It looked horrible, and they played that forever. It was an albatross around my neck, for God's sakes. Wait, how much is it just to take this off the air?
Say hello to Mr. Dave Hook.
I did have a bad show. Fuck-ups are forever, especially with the show that I was on, because it's played over and over and over again. So fuck-ups are forever. Yes.
You played with a lot of stars.
Yes.
Major films.
Yes, yeah, I did.
You were Hairspray.
I was in Hairspray with John Travolta and Christopher Walken.
I gotta show some of the other kids once in a while.
This time next year, you could be wearing an ill-fitting tux wrapping bar mitzvah photos.
Okay, the Michelle Pfeiffer story. Okay, so when you work on a movie set, you work with a star. 95% of the time, when the camera's on the star, you're there reading your lines to them. But when it reverses and you're now in the shot and they're probably not in the shot, the star is nowhere to be seen. And that makes sense because of time and energy. They don't want to be there doing this thing for a fuck up like me or just, cameraman number 3. But because of this shot, the way it was shot over her shoulder, her hair was in the shot. And because it was going so quick, she's like, when they reversed it, she's like, I'll stay. Which everyone's like, oh, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, this is kind of cool. So we do our scene. Now, please remember, the camera's over her shoulder. It's just her hair on the whole shot. I do my take. Everyone laughs because I nailed it. And the director yells, great job, Michelle. And I'm going to do this. And I fucking look at Michelle Pfeiffer right in the face. And I'm like, and she's like, I know, I don't want to talk for her, but her mind's like, I'm not in the shot. I didn't do anything. What the fuck?
Who is this? We have your daughter.
You also did the Michael Douglas movie that
Don't say a word, yeah. I'm sitting in my chair, and he pulls up his director chair beside me. This is something I always hate. I always hate this in show business. This is the worst thing. I fucking hate this more than fucking anything in show business. I hear you're a stand-up comedian. Holy fuck. Oh, fuck. Yep. Yeah, I am. Yeah, okay, well. You got 30 seconds to think of something to make this funny, and he just walks off. I'm like, what the fuck? And I don't know if he's serious. I don't know if he's joking. Like, I have no idea, right? I'm just like, and the scene, there's 2 scenes of me with fucking Michael Douglas. One, he comes up to me and says, do you have the keys to Dr. Such and Such's office? And I put my headphones in, yeah. And then I go and I open the door open. And that's the second part of the scene. That's the whole scene. The whole scene is just me opening a door. I have no dialogue. What am I, going to fucking Marx Brother this? I'm going to juggle the keys? Oh, sorry. Oh. And then put the key in? So he comes in, and this is the thing. When a star comes on the set, it's fucking crazy. It's like, Michael Douglas on set, Michael Douglas on set, Michael Douglas on set, Michael Douglas on set. And you hear headsets popping, right? So he comes on, he comes in, very nice, says hi, shakes my hand. This is Darren. He's the guy doing your scene with you. He did more than fucking Nicolas Cage did. We'll get to that. And I shake his hand, and okay, and action. So I open the door, and I open it. So Michael Douglas goes through, and I time my line to say, if you need anything else, slam. He slams the door. I'm right here. Cut. Huge laugh. Huge laugh and applause. But they weren't rolling tape. So like, okay, we're rolling on this one. Well, the whole fucking crutch of the comedy is he's got to slam the door at the halfway point. So the second time, and oh, by the way, and when fucking Michael Douglas comes through the door after the first take, he gets a look of like, that was funny, kid. That was funny.
Yeah, that was really good. Yeah,
that was funny. Like, you know, like maybe I'm going to now hang out with him. Yeah. Like I'm going to be his new Danny DeVito, right? Like,
come to the house and meet Kirk.
Yeah, I'm going to be like Michael Douglas' best friend. So, okay, we're rolling tape this one. This one's going. So you open up the door. If you need any, slam. Else, I'm right here. Cut. No laughter. Director, lose the line. That's it. Like, that's it. We don't get a set note take. The next take is just, that's it. And in the movie, it's like that. Always fucking film the first take.
Yes.
These people are fucking been doing this longer than I have. Like you and you're fucked up before you started rolling. All that gold I threw down, you don't fucking have it now.
Tell me about your movie career.
My movie career?
Yeah.
I've been in a couple of movies. Hold on, I'll tell you exactly. I've been in my, what's it called? My IMDb. There's 8mm, Wagner, Clueless, Crossroads. Not bad, eh?
How come I've never seen you in any of these movies?
Because that's not me. That's another Vito D'Amico. For some reason, we share the same IMDb. If I ever meet this guy, I'm going to be like, buddy, when I go into auditions, they go, wow, you were in Ryan's Hope in 1978. You look great.
Having 3 beautiful daughters living with me, I tend to have any number of testosterone-ridden guys hanging about the house at any given time, trying to assert their virility and masculinity. And this quite often comes out in the form of gay bashing. And there's one evening, this young guy says to me, you know shit, if a gay guy ever came on to me, I'd just beat the shit right out of him. And I'm like, well, why? Do you want to touch him? And he's like, no. And I said, well, how are you going to beat him up if you don't touch him? Maybe you want to wrestle him to the ground. Roll on top of him. That's right. You know, all bullies are gay in denial, right? It's not the gays in our society that are the problem. They're in touch with their sexuality. They know who they are. They know what they want. It's the gays in denial that are the problem. These are your bullies, right? They don't want to beat you up. They want to beat you off, right? And these are your woman beaters, right? He comes home, he's not pissed off that dinner's not ready or the house is a mess. He's pissed off that she's not a guy, right? So if there's any men out there, you know of any men who like to beat on women, deliver this message for us. Get in touch with it. Suck a dick, save a chick, right? Thank you. You can applaud at that. That's good. It's my public service announcement.
The worst shows I ever had was in Niagara Falls, and it was
in a room where everybody's gone to Niagara Falls for the weekend and they're all couples and they're all lovey-dovey and everything. And those were my worst shows because the men didn't think I was funny necessarily because I was poking fun at them. And sometimes their egos would get the better of them and they couldn't laugh.
You were always calling them gay in denial if they liked sports.
Yeah, well.
And that may shake a man's ego.
Yeah, but I was speaking out against the, I don't know, some prejudice and, you know, stereotypes that people have that just aren't based on any reality. So, and then, you know, women beating, you know, that type of thing, that they're gay in denial and, you know, all that stuff. So
Again, great subjects to bring up in the honeymoon capital of the world.
Exactly right. So the women aren't going to laugh because they want to get laid. You know, if they laugh at me, their husbands are going to get all pissed off and it's going to stop any type of romance. So those were my worst shows.
So you were a comic cockblock.
Yeah, I guess.
Bill, I've been here almost 18 years. They were good crowds. They came here just to see the comedy. Then we switched it over to have the nightclub crowd intermixed with the comedy crowd. So it's a little bit different atmosphere than it used to be.
The people in Hamilton, this is for you. You know Jackson Square? You know how you're going to make, like I was going to CHML, so you know how you gotta wait for the little green arrow to make the right? Right? Okay. So I'm sitting there in front of Lloyd Jackson Square, twiddling my thumbs waiting for this fucking arrow. And I look over, no offense to anybody here of any color, biggest black man I've ever seen. This fucking guy had to be 7'5", standing there with a red sparkling evening gown, word of a lie, with lime green fucking running shoes. And I'm just staring at the guy, and he actually says this to me. I could hear him through the window. He goes, "The fuck are you looking at?" So I put the window down. I said, "Well, your shoes don't match your dress, you fucking weirdo." And I made the turn without waiting for the arrow. Fuck, it's so hard to do this job now because everybody's so fucking uptight, politically correct.
When we started this back in the 90s, television show, audiences would come in, they'd expect to be entertained. They wanted to be entertained. They wanted to laugh. They wanted a good belly laugh. They didn't care how you got them to do that.
I just wanted to do stuff that made me laugh. Like I would never want to go out and give an audience a show that I would want to see.
Stompin' Tom, gay Stompin' Tom, but there's nothing wrong with that. All right. All the girls are out to bingo and the boys are getting stinko and we're thinking about some cornhole on a sodomy Saturday night. The weather road is stormy and I'm feeling hot and horny for a gay man over 40 on a sodomy Saturday night. Well, I'll tie him up with cable, then I'll bend him over the table and I'll show my potato on a sodomy Saturday night. Then I'll slick his ass with butter, then we'll really start to bugger. He'll be screaming for his mother on a sodomy Saturday night.
Today, they come in, they don't want to be entertained. They want to see what doesn't offend them.
You're offended. Hard to believe that you were the fastest sperm. Really, it's really, truly remarkable. Imagine what the other ones were like. Can't find the fucking egg. Still can't find the fucking egg.
I would never even consider getting into stand-up these days. I mean, it's one thing to be dealing with people's attention totally locked in their phones through your act, but also they all have opinions, and they're not afraid to express those opinions during your show.
You ever had this happen though, guys? You're making love with your lady, all of a sudden she starts playing around your backside. Woohoo! First time that happened scared the hell out of me. I thought the husband came home. But I'm not in any way homophobic. You're homophobic?
Yeah.
You're gay or you're homophobic?
You're gay. Maybe
I'm gay or he's gay?
Maybe a bit of both.
Is this like a director's commentary? You're gonna fuck up every punchline I got? Sweetheart, I'm just asking you to be a little polite. I want to get off stage just as much as you want me off.
You gotta watch who you're offending these days. I mean, isn't it something? People are always looking for a reason to be offended.
Do you get complaints?
Yeah. It's comedy, eh? Come on, you got to be able to laugh at yourself and laugh at the world, but not anymore.
The world's a fucked up place. I'll tell you why. I've been doing comedy almost 30 years. When I first started, I didn't have to warn people about my comedy. I just did my comedy. Now I've got to say things like on the door, like no refunds. X-rated. So everyone thinks they're coming to see a bunch of suck and fuck jokes. Bunch of fucking pussies is what happens. People actually pay for shit they know they're not gonna like, go to it, not have a good time, and then blame the fucking show.
Started going after older women now. I like older women. They got experience, their own money, arthritis. Kind of girl, when you push her legs behind her head, you know they're gonna stay there, huh?
Now the diaper.
When she wakes up, you tell her she fell.
Is that you, Henry?
You'll forget.
You're not changing your material.
No, there's no change. I don't change. They bend. I bend them, Bill.
Oh, don't worry, there's gonna be a therapist to talk to you after the show. I'll be at the door with a little teddy bear going, show me where the comedian touched you. Show me on the teddy bear. Look at me! Look at me! I'm going to jail. Good, and then I'll get fucked for a change. And if I go to jail, you can give your asshole a night off.
You ruined our night. That's fine. There's another night.
You're welcome.
Yeah, totally. I never hid. I never would hide in the back. I could tell that the audience was very, and I get them to cannibalize on them each other. So I'll endear myself to a large portion of the audience, and then when the naysayers step up, they kill themselves. I have nothing to do with it anymore. I've seen the audiences attack physically.
That's right. That's why what? That's why I said, well, I'm getting some fucking laughs from these people here. I mean, you seem to be the only one. Can we just collectively, on the count of 3, please say, shut the fuck up, bitch, okay? 1, 2, 3, shut the fuck up, bitch, okay.
I actually became a heckler to the audience.
Go fuck yourself, you ignorant pieces of shit.
I don't use my cock, I use this, sweetie. Trust me. This will satisfy that fucking mouth of yours. Okay? Trust me.
Hey, buddy, can you take out your girlfriend or wife? Because she just keeps heckling all the acts. And as soon as he heard that, he was like, oh, he had to be like a tough guy or something. He's like, oh, I'll fight you. I introduce our next comedian. I bring him up, and I end up just beating the snot out of this guy badly. And somebody had it on their... They were passing it around. I hope they deleted it because this guy could sue the crap out of me.
There's 5 guys outside. I'm like, and they want to fight you. I'm like, okay. But they're fighting each other right now for the right to punch you first.
You can turn to page 85. It turns out I fucked your mother. And you don't want to know what she whispered in my ear.
His mother's dead, bud. Whoa. Mother might die.
How up next time?
Friends? Hey, man, have some respect.
See, what happens is people get drunk, they lose the word fight, so they only have one option with me, and that is to get something and throw it at me or try to attack me.
You just said get off the stage. You think that's gonna fucking defer me? You fucking kidding me? I'll do 45 minutes of fucking rape jokes to make you cry, alright? Yeah! Nothing that I've said has been wrong here tonight. Go fuck yourself. Put that on the internet, motherfuckers. I'm not funny. Go fuck yourself.
Sometimes you ask yourself, is there a price to your dignity? And I found out the answer. There used to be this gig, the fish fry. They cooked this fish and they threw it at all the acts. They had strippers, they threw fish at the strippers, they threw fish at the comics, and it was horrible. It's horrible. Is there a price to humiliate yourself? And apparently, there is. I did it 3 more times.
You can't swear anymore. You can't do this material. They could tell us a lot of what we couldn't do, but they couldn't tell us what we could do. So when we were working the bars, I was only working with Chester. That's all you needed, 75 minutes, Tal, you and me.
Right here, this girl is cute. Chester says she is cute. Chester, no. Chester, what are you doing? Times like this, I wish I had a tongue. All right, all right. Here she comes, here she comes.
What a treat!
What are you doing? Shut up, I read lips. Okay, all right.
I'm not here to educate, I'm here to entertain. The more time you swore, the dirtier you were, the better you did.
Thanks a lot, Senator. It's been fun. Thank you.
My mom would always say, Bill Cosby doesn't swear.
He was busy doing something else. He didn't say it, he did it.
Comedians always think a corporate show is just, well, I just wear a suit and I don't swear. Event planners will hire comics and the comic dies, right? They want their money back. It's a fucking mess. And then you know what the comic always says? But I didn't swear. No, but you talked about raping somebody with a fork, for fuck's sake. Like, do you know what I mean? Nobody ever gets it.
Well, what's the worst word you can call your wife? And I said I was doing a show up in Timmins, and this guy, and I asked that question, and this guy yells out the C word, and I thought that was so funny that he said that, and I was like, well, can you spell it then? And he said, yeah, COUSIN, cousin. I got censored. All of a sudden it was like, oh, you can't swear. And I said, well, I don't swear. So, well, you can't say fuck. And I said, well, can I say cunt? And they were like, oh, no, you can't say that. And I'm going, well, then I can't, I can't do my bit, like that I love. So, anyways.
Tell me the bit that you.
So what's the worst word you can call your wife? And so somebody yells out, cunt. And I said, yeah, it's cunt, right? I said, usually prefaced by stupid or fucking, but it's cunt. So I said, my boyfriend and I were really going through this bad, kind of name-calling stage, and he would call me that. And I was like, why do I put up with this? Like, this is verbal abuse. Why am I putting up with this? So I decided to go for counseling. And the counselor said, well, Shannon, it's clear you are a pseudo-compliant, post-traumatically stressed out, codependent neighbor suffering from low self-esteem, manic depression, and borderline schizophrenia. And so I stopped going for counseling because, frankly, I'd rather be a cunt. And that's the joke, right? So I'm going, how do I do that and not say the word cunt? So I go on stage. I said, yeah, so my boyfriend got, and he called me a cousin. And I was like, that's verbal abuse. And it didn't make any sense. I was just like, everybody's just staring at me. And after I was finished, everybody's just looking at me, and I was going, well, normally I say cunt, but I was told I couldn't say it. And I just was like the end of my career.
The comic is saying something that nobody wants to say, but they find funny, and then everybody laughs, That's the whole point of it. That's the thing. That's why people go to, watch, he or she or whoever make a joke, and you're going, wow, I can't believe they said that out loud, but that is funny. You know, that's what you want.
Yeah, you're talking about something personal that the response tells you is universal.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Can you imagine getting an email, you're getting ready to do a gig, check your email from the club, and you get this thing saying, you must read this, and you must reply to this. You must submit your set list. You can't make fun of this, you can't make fun of that. And you're going, I don't make fun of this, I don't make fun of that, but I do touch on a few things, but it still gets a laugh, so can I use it or not? I find that just
And you don't know when you've crossed the line until you have crossed the line.
Canceled when they didn't even listen to what I said. About 4 years ago now, a friend of mine called me up and he said, I'm doing a show in Toronto. Do you want on? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then the next day he called me. He said, the show is called White Guys Matter. Ooh. My history has been so not that title that anyone that knows me would go, what the fuck is he doing on the show? So I did the show. So everything I did was the exact opposite to White Guys Matter. It was just a shitty title to gain some publicity, and it worked because all the papers wrote about it and said the show shouldn't happen, and it was a success in that regard. That's why they wanted to do this show. Now, of the 15 minutes that I did on that show, every single thing was either pro-women, pro-black, or anti-Trump. Someone came and reviewed the show for Now Magazine, which is a severe left magazine. They reviewed the show and gave me a very good review and said that I kind of bore my soul on the show and opened myself up, which, you know, I'm known for cutting myself open and bleeding. So they picked up on it and picked up on the fact that everything I said was kind of anti what the show was. Like, nobody got up there and went white power like everyone said it was going to be. I would never go on a show with anyone that would say anything like that. Say the show title is stupid. Say the show shouldn't exist. I'm 100% down with that. Like, one of the guys that was really riding it hard, I sent a message. I go, I agree with everything you're saying. I'm still doing the show, but I get it. I get it. And we're still friends, this guy and me. I'm like, you have the right. I've said, there's freedom of speech, but there's not freedom of consequence. Okay? I said I'd do the show. I didn't cancel it. People get upset. You gotta wear your hair shirt, Davern. Wear your fucking hair shirt. Turned out the hair shirt gave me hives and it fucked me up. What am I gonna do? But the damage was done. And there are people that still won't even look at me now and talk to me or hire me or... Yeah, there's people I got, like, festivals, like, helped get festivals for that just fucking threw me under the bus. And at that point, comedy died for me. The idea of censorship, I do understand it. I really do understand it, but not in a comedy club. Like, especially the way I branded my shows, that you're, you know, X-rated, you're going to be offended. If someone comes in, you know, don't go to the haunted house and complain that the bad man scared you. That's why we have safe spaces for audiences that don't want to hear certain things. I get it. The problem is the people that run some of these venues then go, I shouldn't be doing what I want in the non-safe space zone area. You can't have it both ways. And that's what the world is becoming now. It's like, no, I'm not only protecting my peace, I'm projecting out to the world what I think the world should be. And that's very dangerous.
When did you first notice something that had you enough concern that you wanted to get it checked out as far as...
The question was, when did I have some concern about going and checking out? We're talking about, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor. So, it just was pretty slight. It was, I noticed sometimes if I was walking upstairs, my foot would, you know, tap the next stair that I was going up on. Just basic stuff that people take for granted, or you just stair climbing and just notice something off.
A priest called me a liar, my car blew a tire, my house was set on fire, and my son just joined the choir. In my brain they found a tumor, they wish they'd found it sooner, my sex change is a rumor.
The symptoms that I had that first gave me the red flag that something might be wrong increasingly got worse, where my walking was affected. And I mean, how can you be a stand-up comedian when you can't stand up? Truthfully. It's hard. And especially I was getting seizures as well. So I mean, that's definitely a showstopper right there. Hold on a second. You know, so that's also the, you know, it's like the thing that, it's the unknown thing. You don't want to go on stage knowing, you know, that something that like that could happen. So that scares you to wanting to get in front of a crowd, most definitely.
A lot of comedians think they're so special. That's why they never go anywhere. Even if they have a lot of talent, it's show business. I know that's a tired term, but show business. It is a business, and you can't act like an asshole. You've got to be professional and have some standards and be willing to put up with a lot of crap. I mean, I did with CHTV, you know. I learned not only to be a host and a producer, but an editor, and you also got to be a psychologist with some of these comedians, because some of them, their heads get so huge and so fat, and they can't figure out why they never made it. Well, that's why. It's because you were too arrogant, and people don't like working with you no matter how funny you are.
You've got to hustle, and you've got to be able to do like a lot of different types of things. Theaters, golf courses, whoever the audience is, and then you have to have an act that appeals to all of them. That's the trick. That's how you make a living.
You want to make your $5,000 a show, you have to be seen to be killing all the time, or more, 5. I mean, I have friends that just went out $65,000, one show. Say your corporate events are $5,000 to $8,000 a show, and your cruises might be like, say $3,500 is the average, I would say. So, you know, you do 10 weeks at $3,500, there's your $35,000, there's your base, then you throw in 10 more shows at $5K, now you're 50, now you're at 85, then you throw in some other stuff, now you're at 100. That's how you put a living together in show business. The trade-off is you have to create material that appeals to those audiences, and that might not be artistically satisfying to you. You have to pander to them a little bit. So the hardcore club comics that we both came up with would say, well, you're kissing their ass. I will kiss those ass, and I will make those concessions to have a comfortable life. Because I don't want to be like every road comic we know who's broke. I never wanted to be poor.
No one in Canada only makes it through stand-up. They always have a side hustle. So my side hustle was acting, commercials, cartoon work. Without that, I couldn't have done stand-up. And I couldn't have done the kind of stand-up I wanted to do. Now the problem with that is the kind of stand-up I'm doing affects that work because people Google you, and therefore you don't get hired.
I hope entertainment comes back because I'm not good at anything else. This is the longest job I've had. Yeah, no, it's a little sad there, you know. You're just, yeah. I didn't want to tell you. You said it first, you know, other than carrying you. It's been a long fucking time. You're getting old, okay. And you smell funny.
When I look at my career and my life, I see a guy who never fucked anybody, and that's what I'm proudest of. I never fucked anybody on a deal. I never fucked anybody on a gig. And I never fucked anybody on something I promised. Now that's business. Personal, I've broken a few promises and I regret it. What I regret is putting myself in the position where I had to make those promises to begin with. And if you're being honest, that's the truth. But when it came to business and professional life, I never fucked anybody. And I'd even like that on my tombstone. He never fucked anybody. Of course, as long as I don't, you know, I don't want to die and have people think I'm a virgin. You know, as long as people understand the context of it when they come to the cemetery, I'll be fine with it.
When I started comedy, everybody was a really big character, and everybody was a free spirit. There was nobody that was like timid back then, because basically you're walking into places and everybody's screaming, and who would want to do that? But we did.
I don't think my kids are gonna be proud of it, but you know, like, there's a lot of stuff out there that even my middle child now just goes, "What are you gonna do, Dad? You gonna go on stage tonight and scream motherfucker at people and get paid? Is that what you're gonna do?" Which I think is absolutely hysterical. Maybe that makes me a bad parent. I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm gonna fucking pretty much do, and it's pretty sad, isn't it? That's how Daddy gets paid. If Daddy says motherfucker a lot, we get to go to Disneyland.
I wouldn't want to start today. The clubs are all going too politically correct, and I'm why? Why? Who wants to listen to that? Like, seriously, no.
You know, I changed my act because I had to. if I wanted to work. I don't mind if I have to play for kids or seniors.
They can't really walk out on you because I can't walk.
Oh, they could walk. It just takes forever. You know, it's just kind of like, okay, just come on. If you gotta go, go.
The playing field has been decimated. So it's like, you know, on Save It Private Ryan, when all of their ears are ringing and their arms are flying off and bodies are flying over their head. Well, I've already been on the ground with the gun and I'm still going forward. Well, all these carcasses, because they were fair weather children in my world.
I had everything figured out until this part.
My wife told me she's leaving, my wisdom teeth are bleeding.
You know, you're going to get in trouble. People find this out. Oh yeah, it's Bill. No one's going to watch it.
Likes men's asses and I haven't paid my taxes and I got gonorrhea and swollen.
Tell me about the Arctic rabbits.
Nobody believes me about these either.
I don't know what to say. My son just joined ballet. It's been a bad day.
If I see someone work hard and be successful and way bigger than me, great. If I see someone that isn't hardworking and was given to them, they're fucking cunts. Who cares?
A priest called me a liar. My car blew a tire. My house was set on fire, and my son just joined the choir.
So I guess the real success is that you guys were the first homosexual couple.
My son is a transvestite, and I'm losing my eyesight. I got gas. Forgot to.
I say everything. You saw it.
Yeah.
You know, call the cops. I don't care.
I got the axe.
And I will perform again one day, but it's not starting. It's just kind of like, oh, reunion. Let's have a reunion.
Masturbator, a kid hit me with a snowball, and then I got a prank call, put my fist.
You've driven all this way and you're at a show and, you know, there's nobody there, right? There's nobody there. And you just keep going, I'll wait for the audience. I'll wait for the audience.
It's been a bad day.
If we talked about this 20 years ago, you would say, that's impossible, man. That's impossible. You go to a club and you would laugh your brains out and have fun. But now it's like they're dissecting everything. Just enjoy the show.
Everyone, please.
Oh, shit.
Shut up. Let this guy do his show.
Whoa.
That's it. That's all I got to say about that.